Hello and welcome back to another 3 a.m. production video. This week we're going to be doing things a little different because I didn't inherently just draw something you guys can follow along with, but last weekend I got to go to MegaCon in Orlando, Florida, so I thought I'd take this time and talk about some cool designs and art that I've done over the years and relate it back to the con that I just got to experience and have some fun with that. One thing you can probably tell on this channel is that I'm a big fan of comic books, and one of my favorite characters is Spider-Man. A couple of years ago, I went through the process of designing my own Spider-Man suit for me to wear around and cosplay in. I'd gone through a couple iterations of it, one that I finally settled on, and I have some Easter eggs of various suits over the years from Spider-Man comics and the movies and the video games, and put it all together to one suit that I had made, and I think it looks incredible. I will say it was a lot of fun to see my art come to life in that way. Actually having that 3D aspect of something that's usually two-dimensional. I even put together some comic book art to go along with some of these characters of myself being in costume and out of costume to go along with the story of me being Spider-Man, having him being more based in the real world and having the same backstory of some of my own personal life intertwined in that story, but ultimately having the same powers as Spider-Man. Came up with these situations where he would fight certain villains that were metaphorical representations of different things in my life, bringing a more practical edge to the design because a couple of years ago I was in a car accident that left me kind of hurt. So I designed the suit in a way that would kind of support the areas in which I was hurt more, so while I was crime fighting as Spider-Man, I could also still do all the things that a spider could. I eventually met a buddy of mine who was also into Spider-Man as much as I would, but we got to talk about it, and since I had already done the classic red and blue, he decided to take a different approach, so we came up with this elaborate backstory for what his Spider-Man could be like. We had all of our friends be various Avengers. Created a little comic of him and the rest of the Avengers being pulled into the real-world continuity of my Spider-Man. His Spider-Man less classic and a bit more armored than usual, gets to go into more heavy combat situations and has more of a shield-ish background to go along with his shield training with Nick Fury and various other characters. We collaborated with finding the most realistic way to make this suit come to life and got this suit made, which turned into his significant other being conned into getting a super suit. Now, she was more of a fan of Scarlet Witch, so I designed a suit to be more reminiscent of her likes and interests, because she's also a big fan of Star Wars and Scarlet Witch, and at the time, the Marvel had just debuted their little Hellfire Gala, and so I took aspects of all of these things and tried to combine it into a suit that I thought she would appreciate. Now, when Kevin Conroy passed away a couple years ago, I decided to go back to the drawing board because at that time I was working on the movie, and I also wanted to make a bat suit for Comic-Con eventually, and so I delved in and I found some of my favorite things of the Conroy versions of Batman over the years and started trying to combine them into what I thought would be the best, most practical version of Batman. And so I combined the animated series with the Arkham games and started working with my dad to develop this chestplate armor and figure out what I could do to build an actual functioning chestplate, just like it is in the Arkham Knight video game, where I could have this multi-purpose, like, alright, just regular street thugs versus going up against whole militias and armies in Gotham, or even the Man of Steel himself. And tons of painting and gluing later, finally got a working version of the armor, which I took to MegaCon, and I got pictures with Detective Comics issue number 27, which was the first iteration of Batman. I got various pictures with Harley Quinns, and Poison Ivies, and Catwomans, and Hugo Strange, and I've started piecing together some of the art that I've done over the years to showcase some of the cool pictures that I got with it. If you guys see any of these characters that you want me to do future videos on, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to talk about it. But I had fun iterations with other fans who, I pull out the kryptonite with Superman. He's pretending to be ill from the effects. A buddy of mine was big into TMNT with Casey Jones, and he came with me the first day. We palled around as Batman and Casey Jones on a scavenger hunt to find missing turtles who had been kidnapped by Shredder. Second day, I made it my mission to meet Michael Rosenbaum, who voiced the Flash on the Justice League animated series alongside Kevin Conroy as Batman, and talk to him, have a conversation with him. Even got a little print signed and gifted him some artwork. But I do think it's very fun that this hobby can bring so many different people together and take somebody shy like me and get me out of my bubble and interact with people in a fun, cool way of interacting in like little fight sequences or just little photo ops or talking nerdy about different bat suits that we're wearing at the time. I had a great time this weekend, but I think the coolest thing that happened this weekend is I got to sit in the freaking Batmobile. The 89 Michael Keaton Batmobile. I got really cool photos in this thing. I posted one right there. But thoroughly recommend if you guys are into art, if you're into design, if you like cons, conventions, designing your own costumes, figuring out ways to create your favorite characters and making them come to life. If you guys are interested in something like that or want help designing that, reach out in the comments below. We can talk about it, figure out how we can do an episode about designing your own suits and cosplay. I know this episode's been a little unorthodox compared to other episodes, but if you guys have any interest in doing future episodes of characters that you guys want for me to draw, let me know. If you're interested in the cosplay idea, let me know. But until next time,